or tweet into the show at 1045 The Team. It's Big Board Sports with Roger Weiland on 1045 The Team.
Mohawk Honda, Route 50 in Glenville, where we're hanging here on this Monday morning. Nice to have you with us. We're on Facebook Live at Mohawk Honda as well. And the afternoon guys, Levac and Gauze, 2 to 7 will also be here a little bit later on today. Bob Edwards celebrating this morning, the owner of Good Magic E5 Racing, and in the Chad Brown barn for sure. And a big one yesterday, looked awfully impressive at Monmouth Park, winning the Haskell, and now it is on to the race that Chad Brown says would be the most important one for him to knock down a victory in the Travers. Good morning, Bob Edwards, Roger Weiland, and Chris Honorato on 104.5, The Team ESPN Radio.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
We're good, Bob. Congrats on the victory, and I don't know what you thought it was going to be that easy, but it was pretty impressive. You must have been extremely happy with the results from Monmouth. Let's start there.
Absolutely, yeah. We were, and you guys, still celebrating. I think we over-celebrated last evening with our two our partners from Stone Street and Chad and our whole posse. But, absolutely pleased to see, the horse just look phenomenal. I haven't seen him in a while. He was at Belmont with Chad's crew down there. He put on some weight. He just looked the part when he was walking through the tunnel. He just had that air about him like he came to play, and, obviously he did.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And now to a race that obviously important to you and your wife's from Saratoga, Chad from Mechanicville. Everything heads towards the Travers now. How about some early thoughts on your getting Good Magic right where you want him? Hopefully comes out of the race yesterday with no issues. And you're going to be if everything stays the course, Bob, you're going to be the favorite at the Travers.
I don't like the pressure being the favorite. I love having the favorite horse, but I don't like the pressure being the favorite. And the horse is up here. I believe he should be here any minute up at Chad's barn, and we'll see how he comes through. And, it's Chad's call, obviously. My trainer's license expired, but, he's the best and the brightest. Having Jose on board and, just knowing the horse well and kind of riding him brilliantly yesterday and riding him, well in the past. It's exciting to have an opportunity. And like you said, my wife is from Saratoga. Her family's from Saratoga. This is a big deal for us, as a new racing stable and as a family.
I mean, if you guys win the Travers, look out Caroline Street or, block out 15 Church or Sperry's or something. I mean, because that'll be a wild Saturday night in downtown Saratoga. We're joined by Bob Edwards, E5 Racing, the owner of Good Magic. And Bob, you've had success in the past with Chad Brown. New Money Honey wins the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Phillies Turf. What is it about Chad's style, or how did you get hooked in with him that now anytime you get a horse you really like, you turn to him?
I met Chad my first year of racing, and kind of, as I was getting into it, I picked up one horse, and said, all right, one horse, we're good. We'll race next year. And went back home and did the stats pre-Keeneland and said, wow, I've really no shot looking at the stats of this horse ever making Saratoga. So I hooked up with Mike Ryan, who's my bloodstock agent, went to Keeneland, bought, what we thought were some good yearlings, and New Money Honey was out of that crop. And then I went to the Keeneland horse racing age and picked up a filly named Zendaya, who kind of was at Stone Street's farm when it was Vinery. So the guys knew the horse. I said, Chad, you think you can, train up on this horse? And he said, absolutely. And my first win happened to be the Intercontinental, which was a stakes win, and I think I won 4 stakes races before I broke a traditional maiden. So having Chad, help win races, was a big part of us connecting and becoming fast friends. He's a great guy. He comes to Boca Raton in the wintertime where I live. That's where he winters. So it's easy to back and forth to Palmettos or Gulfstream, and we've had tremendous success. 3 Breeders' Cups in 2 years. Back-to-back in the Dewey Phillies Turf with New Money Honey Russian Fall, and obviously Good Magic, Focus Maiden in classic style.
Bob, how did you get into the game? I mean, you've only been in the game 2015? Is that correct? How did horse racing now become such a big part of what you do?
So it was my third year racing. We came up, like I said, my wife's from here, and we came up for a family reunion, like hats off weekend, or, we came, we usually come up for hats off weekend. Something happened and came up, and it happened to be auction week. And I was with my daughter, and I have a buddy who lives on Fifth Ave, and we went to see his house, and come to the backside. I want to show you one of my horses. I'd never been to the backside. And, once you go there, it's over. You start patting on the horses, seeing how well they're taken care of, and start talking to people, and it just kind of sucks you in. And I walked into guys looking at horses at the auction, and I met Mike Ryan, Al Brennan, just kind of crew of people, and I'm walking around in vans and cargo shorts and a ball cap. And, Mike didn't know anything about me and my daughter, and he took the time to spend the day with us and introduce us to horse racing confirmation. And I said, all right, Mike, pick my horse out for next year. And kind of that's what he did, and just got sucked in from there.
Bob, being in the media, we really only get to know horse trainers, owners from arm's length. What we see in the media or through 5-10 minute interviews, maybe we may do with you guys. But I'm curious, having observed you the little bit that I have in the interviews you've done, do you feel a responsibility in any way to further this sport, to make it more attractive to younger people? And I know your daughter Cassie is headed in that direction as well. She's already blogged for America's Best Racing, and my buddy Dan Torgman. Do you feel any kind of responsibility being new to the game and trying to advance it a little bit that may attract some new fans?
Absolutely. I think I think everybody has to be a steward of sport. I mean, this is a phenomenal sport. It should be. It should be, one of those sports. I think horse racing is number 2 in the UK. Now we have a lot of cool sports in the US, right? A lot of things going on, and there's a lot of people trying to get that airspace or attention. But there's nothing like this. This is the best social club in America. There's the best people on both sides of the track. The people that work on the track, the people that work for the track, the people that own the horses, the people that ride the horses, the horses themselves. There's nothing like this. And yes, I do feel responsible as an owner to make sure more people get engaged. We were at the races, and I had 5 extra passes for the paddock, and I stopped, and there was a family of 5. I said, guys, you were in the paddock before? And they said, no. I said, well, you're going now. Don't forget magic. And, it was cool. They kind of went in, they did their thing.
That's
and
great.
as I came out, I was, we got I got our pictures, we got the trophy, and I got kind of stalled up talking to somebody. I walked up, and this little kid came up and gave me a big hug and said, thanks, it was the coolest thing that ever happened. So if I got one fan out of that,
cool.
It's worth it. And, maybe he goes to Monmouth now, for the next 25 years and watches horse racing.
That's the way to do it.
Very cool.
You're right, Chris, and Bob's right. You got to build this sport and add to it, and you got to get the younger generation in it. And Bob is well on his way to doing that. What has been the experience like with New Money Honey, Bob, and what was it like at the Breeders' Cup when she won the Juvenile Fillies Turf?
So we're going to the Breeders' Cup my first year racing, right? Which it's absurd. She didn't win a maiden here. She won. She won the Miss Gorilla. We go to the Breeders' Cup, and they hand you the trophy. I'm just assuming it's a normal day. They hand me a trophy. It's cool. We're in California. Weather's great. It's a big crowd. I'm with my family, and somebody goes, they want to take a picture here. And I looked. There's like 3 photographers. Like, oh, all right. I smile. They go, no, turn around. And that's when it hit me. I turn around. There's like 75 photographers behind me on the track, and that's when you get the goosebumps, and you kind of like, wow, this is amazing. And it's still even watching those races, and we still watch all our breeders' siblings regularly, you get goosebumps. There's nothing like winning a world championship race against the best.
Bob, I appreciate it. We're big fans of Chad, and we've been following his career really since day one. I remember covering Chad. I don't know how many years ago it's been when he won his first race. I believe at Saratoga. Hey, the Mechanicville trainer just won a race, and boy, since then, Bob, he's now become arguably, he's been voted the number 1 trainer in the country. So you got big Chad Brown fans here for sure.
Let me tell you, he is unbelievable. Seeing him in the mornings, sharp as a razor, watching everything. We were with him one day, and he points. He goes, Bob, watch his horse. Every time he walks, he steps on his right foot. His ear twitches a little bit. Something that I'd never pick up on in a million years. And they pulled the horse out and just said, nope, we're not working him out today. We got to figure out what's wrong with his foot. he's unbelievable. He's a student of the game. You know, he's a condition book master. He campaigns horses like nobody I've ever met. You know, he's looking at races now. You know, obviously with the win in your Breeders' Cup, but he's looking at races for November. Or he's looking at races some point next year for some of these horses we have already. You know, he is a student of the game, and lives, breathes, and works horse racing.
Bob, go ahead, Raj.
I just wanted to double check with you because I know Chad tells us this all the time. We do believe him, but I'll ask you: is this the most important race for him to win? The Travers coming up at the end of August.
I think it is. You know, being a local guy here, having that on your resume is super impressive. You know, obviously it's a big race, and it's going to set up as a big race. There's some horses that'll be in that race that we haven't seen yet. You had Jim Dandy here, and I think Hopberg will be in as well. And I think it'll be a fairly strong race, but to have him win the race, is got to be something that's on his bucket list. And he'll look pretty solid in that race.
Bob, we did this, actually, Roger did it to Baffert only a few days ago, put him on the spot for our Travers show. So I'm going to do it while we've got you live on the air as well, because it sounds like you're already in Saratoga. We do a half-hour Travers preview on the NBC TV affiliate here in the Albany area. And so if it's okay with you, we'll come out and find you around the barns sometime before the Travers show to do a TV interview.
Cool, absolutely. I got a face for radio, but have at it.
Well, listen, man. Congrats on all the stuff you've got going on, and the big one, obviously, with the Travers and Good Magic. And we'll catch up with you down the road, Bob. Thanks for joining us here on Big Board Sports.
Hey, thanks for supporting everything, guys. Cheers.
Thank
Bob. You, Bob Edwards, good guy, huh?
Awesome.
Good guy.
Awesome.
You met him.